Hey, good evening, buddy. Welcome to Bound to Truth. This is the new first year podcast of 2025.
Woo!
Jonathan Hershey and myself. And also, this will hopefully be a video recording as well, not just an audio recording. So it might look a little funky, but hey, that is okay. Again, work in progress, working a lot of different ventures and so forth. And, the world hasn't ended yet. So it gives me time to perfect my craft, our craft, and all that jazz. But yeah, what a heck of a 2025 year, Jonathan. How was your New Year's? Well, I was actually hanging out with you, man.
It was explosive.
And
Highly
wait,
explosive.
what would you say that? What do you mean?
Well, you decided to leave before all the fun actually really happened.
Yeah, I left about 30 minutes before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was tired.
And that's when I blew the neighborhood up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just, I wanted to make sure that I was able to get home before you popped my tires and just kept me as hostage as your
Yeah.
long-term plan is going to be.
It's the
But
Claymore mine that I hid in your house somewhere that you still haven't found yet, but eventually it will happen.
oh, Claymore
Yeah.
mine, huh?
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, looks like I gotta watch my steps then.
Yeah, it's just it's nothing devastating. It's loaded with dildos, so
Oh my gosh. And there it begins. It looks like there's that New Year's resolution, John's
2025.
John's potty mouth. So
Yeah.
but anywho, man, we're hoping everybody had a great New Year's, a safe New Year's, and those who are still listening to the podcast, that means you're alive and you survived the whole event so far. And we got a lot to unpack today. There's a lot of things going on, especially since our last episode for the last year regarding the drones. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about how to reach us. We're definitely expanding our platform more. It's going to be another fun-filled year. So, of course, you can definitely watch and hear our podcast. It's going to be on Spotify, Apple, Buzzsprouts. Let's see, X, Twitter, YouTube, all those
TikTok.
TikTok, all those different platforms. We're definitely expanding more. And then we also are going to be starting our. We did a little bit of a soft launch. Last week on paranormal therapy, which was quite fun. It was just kind of a random uh, moment. John just kind of mentioned like, "Hey, let's do the paranormal therapy right now." I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right, all right." We don't really promote it. That's cool. I like that. Kind of get a feel for it and all that. And that was fun. That was really exciting and kind of get a feel for it. But we're gonna be starting to do paranormal therapy and starting in a couple of weeks, which will be on a Friday. We'll be putting that on Facebook and posting that out as well as other platforms as well. Definitely give you guys the opportunity to kind of really join in and definitely love to hear your stories about not just about what you've experienced, but also how that's how that's impacted your life both either in a good, bad, maybe in either way. So we're really excited to get that going and so forth. And that's going to be right now just on TikTok. We are working on other things too with the podcast. John just helped me out with this great platform called Street Labs, which I'm working on, where we'll be able to do podcasts, which will also be live at times, where it's not going to be like where you can communicate and talk on TikTok, where you can join on the video or just audio, but you can definitely do some chat functions and definitely participate and be part of that episode as well, which is going to be exciting and so forth. So definitely expanding our horizons, which is going to be awesome. And yeah, anything you want to add to that, John?
No, you kind of hit the nail right on the head. It's yeah, the paranormal therapy thing I'm kind of excited for. It's gonna be real nice. It's gonna be fun to do, especially because hoping to get some good engagement from our followers and from people who don't follow. Just like the whole point of it is to make sure that we are opening up this platform for our listeners and viewers so that they can feel more engaged and they can share their stories and we can talk and for people to have questions, maybe paranormal events that are happening in their life or something that they think is paranormal but they're not sure. It'd be a good uh segment for them or a good time for them to pop in and just be like, hey, I was dealing with this, what do you guys think? It's like, okay, let's talk this over.
Right.
So it'll
Yeah.
be nice.
Exactly, exactly. We're really hoping to expand that. Like I said, the platform is yours. We're really going to be amplifying that as much as possible. So definitely going to be fun. And then before we also get in the beginning of the podcast, John, man, how's our film thing going, man? We got a lot of things happening on our projects, aren't we?
There's a lot. I mean, as you can tell, I'm on the top of a mountain right now. I've been abducted by aliens. The aurora borealis is all around me, and they abducted me specifically. Don't mind the man behind the curtain. Um, to talk to me about our Blue Mountain project specifically.
Yes.
That's what they abducted me and brought me up here to talk about was how they were excited for Bound to Truth's first movie. And it sounds like we got some legs on it too. We had an interview for our afterlife research project and I dropped the bomb about the Bound to Truth with her the lady that works for Echelon Studios. And I was like, well, we have another project that's similar, but different, and sent her a link to that. And so far, positivity. That's what we've got, and we should be hearing a little bit more about that tomorrow.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And I'm sure you saw that message from Xander, right, regarding
Yeah.
tomorrow and how she actually
Yeah,
watched it. And I just really liked it, which is really, really great, which is a great
that's awesome.
sign.
It's a
Yeah.
great sign because now we got two projects out. Apparently, my other part of my finger is gone. The aliens took part of my finger, so we have two two projects out. I'm gonna turn this background off. This
You
thing
know,
is ridiculous. I don't even know what I did. Um, one
actually,
of them is.
excuse me, I kind of like it actually.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh wow, they really took up the space.
Yeah, they really did this time. Anyways, we have two projects out. One of them for afterlife research, where our trio, Christopher, Xander, and myself, are working on. Our focus is mostly like the untold stories of graveyards, like very desolate graveyards that have paranormal events or maybe some tragedy surrounding them, like Starvation Heights. The fact that the whole thing is basically founded on tragedy, and that's kind of where our focus with afterlife research is. But as for Bound of Truth, we are more focused on like a documentary style of locations that have kind of been like piecing us together and stringing us along to like this place, and now it's led us to this place. And you guys will get a little bit of that here too, like from the Blue Mountain project. And I'll just go into this, make this a short story. There's a schoolhouse called the Blue Mountain Schoolhouse, and it's very haunted, and we have received intelligent communication that has led us from there to a lake that's just down the road from there,
Mhm.
which is apparently known for paranormal and supernatural cryptid events. And so from there, that actually ties in to another part of the Blue Mountain, which is called the Tubal Cane. And that will be another part of our project where we're kind of following it all the way up to apparent most okay, what's the word I'm looking? Allegedly the source of the paranormal event. So it's like a documentary style where the first part is the schoolhouse. The second part will be maybe be the lake. We'll see if anything comes from that. It is on private property, so I don't know. I've tried to reach out to the individual that owns it, and it hasn't been going well so far. But even if from there on we still have the whole Tubal cane and everything else, and also we have another exciting cemetery that we had a very special experience
Mm.
a little while ago that was intelligent communication that basically told us to return to an area that we had just recently been to. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that
But
was a
a
very,
lot of good
very
things, a lot of good things going on.
yeah, and this is before all before the end of the year, which is incredible. I mean, I
Yeah.
will the night when we did that investigation is just kind of a joke and fun at my house, and all of a sudden things just
It
went off.
turned into a lot more
Yeah,
real than we
and
ever could
we'll
have imagined.
and what we'll do is we'll definitely do some clips and put that out on YouTube as
Hmm.
well for that event. We recorded it and all the stuff. So I'll have John help me out with that and kind of like how much we want to put on there. Maybe we could do a quick little mini spots on that, or just do a whole video on it. Doesn't matter to me. Just to kind of give you a taste of what we're doing,
Yeah.
uh, and all that jazz to build up to the next event that we're going to be doing. So with that being said, let's get down to it, Jonathan. There's a lot going on, man. I mean,
Fog,
I remember,
orbs,
yeah,
drones,
yeah. I feel like,
Russians.
yeah, it's this one was a lot because there was just such a flow of information after the New Year's, especially right before the New Year's. I mean, geez, we had a drone sighting of ours that New Year's Eve, which was pretty crazy.
Should we I wouldn't even say that was a drone. That was a flying
That was a flying disc.
building.
Man.
It was a building.
That
It
was a
was I've never seen something that large before
that
in the sky.
Yeah, that was definitely huge. I'll have to try to get that actually on. I forgot that I could put that on YouTube. But that was crazy. But anyways, so we got a lot that's going on with the drones. We got a lot that's going on with fog. We got a lot that's going on with bombings. We got a lot that's going on with
Multiple
wars.
terrorist attacks. Don't it,
Yeah.
and also the what just happened in Turkey also.
Oh, tell me about, yeah, what happened in
Yeah, there
Turkey?
was a terrorist attack in Turkey at I think an embassy, but don't quote me on that. I've only been able to see bits and pieces of it because it doesn't seem to be coming in the most clear. Um, Two individuals stormed this specific building, in with the intent, fully armed, with the intent of harm.
Jeez, wow.
And yeah,
Yeah,
and then we had
it's
the Tesla truck bombing. Gosh, what else?
well, yeah, there is just a lot. There was also in New Orleans. It's funny because
Oh yeah,
what we're going to talk about one main person in particular, especially regarding his email manifesto, regarding connection with the drones, which was quite interesting. And which again, we question everything because who knows what is truth and what is not. I mean, there was always that fine line between truth and the narrative of manipulate the truth. But yeah, so we got drones, we've got orbs going with the drones, we got again the bombings, we've got this mysterious fog, which we'll talk a little bit more about, and then of course we've got economic collapse that's going on that's happening right now. I don't know if you heard right now today that Justin Trudeau is supposed to be stepping down as the prime minister for Canada.
that
There's
is a blessing.
yeah, there's a lot going on with Germany and France and so forth. Also, we'll talk a little about the Chinese too, about their economic uh, deal that's going on too that's supposed to be really, really bad, and how that one's definitely very concerning, which we'll definitely talk more towards the end of what that could mean for us in this country. So before we get into that stuff as well, let's go ahead and talk a little about the drones, John. So after our last episode talking about the drones, we're talking about it's a government psyop. It's something that we have created, and I still believe that there's something that has to do with some type of extraterrestrial technology just because of how they operate and how there's no heat signature and how long they last. I would call it a weaker version of it, and meaning not it's not the most maximum capable of our technology, but also saying that it's Chinese based. But what's your thoughts on that, man? Saying that hey, it's the Chinese spying on
Huh.
us, right? What do you think?
Um, so somebody made a point. They're like, well, if it's Chinese base, shooting them down would be an act of war. I believe an act of war would be invading our private airspace. So
Agree.
if
Well,
it's Chinese, if we haven't allowed it, which I have no idea why would be we would be allowing Chinese spy technology into our country to do whatever they're doing. That doesn't make any sense to me unless, there's an ulterior motive behind that where we're trying to allow them to do these things. But even then, I would have assumed that they would have let us know, like, there's going to be this operation going on where they're going to be using these drones for geological surveys or radiation surveys or, whatever. Maybe they just want to see how pretty our water looks like. Um, but whatever it is, if it is Chinese based, if it is Russian, German, extraterrestrial, we know what it is, but we don't have control of it. That's just really all there is to it. It's something that is in our control. And if it is, it's for an ulterior motive. It's to do harm. It's to bring some form of technology or some form of bioweapon or some form of ailment or whatever into our country, knowingly, without causing a big stink or, excuse me, I have the hiccups, or some form of civil war of people shooting anything they see in the sky.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't think it's Chinese based. I don't. I think that's a bunch of bullshit.
Okay.
Um, because I mean, I can go back to the spy balloons that were flying over, and we as soon as we found out that they were foreign technology, we shot them out of the sky immediately. They're like, "Oh shit, that's not ours. That's not like some form of civilian thing. Oh, it's I was it China? They were Chinese
It
spy
was
balloons or
so
reconnaissance."
So
Or I can't
There were
remember.
Chinese spy balloons that reached from the west to the east coast, and
Yeah,
we not only missed it the first time, we missed it the second time with the missile, which was
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
embarrassing. I don't know.
Embarrassing. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
small
almost like
signature to hit. So
it's like throwing the first pitch of a game. You're like, whoops, that was
yeah,
that.
ball one,
Well, one,
ball
Lance.
two.
It's
Oh, we're
okay.
off to a great game.
Yeah, yeah.
But
This
yeah,
yeah,
we still shot it down. We still shot it down,
we
and we
did.
got rid of it. Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
and our military has made no attempt whatsoever to counter these things that are appearing in our skies. It's not happening. They have done nothing.
Well, and there's plenty.
There's
Yeah.
no rule of engagement. Even the Coast Guard, when they were dealing with it, they said our we weren't given a clear to shoot it or do anything about it.
Or they couldn't.
There's that.
And
I'd at
when
least
I
try.
mean, why would you? Well, what I'm saying is, why would you put that out there saying we tried and we couldn't do it? What's that going to do to the confidence of the American
Exactly.
people? I
And
mean,
that's what makes me
no.
think that whatever it is, we know what it is and we know that we can't deal with it.
Right. And there's also and guys, by the way, out there in this beautiful world of social media, I'm sure I can pull up John, I can pull plenty of videos all day. There's tons of videos you can watch on all this stuff where, as much as I want to throw a bunch of videos, I'd be all day trying to figure out which ones to show you. You can just YouTube them. There's a lot of people talking about these drones, not just about seeing them in video, just talking about even people in the military talking about that, hey, they're around, they're hovering up on a base, and when you do that, that's a big no-no, right? And especially John, when it comes to the FAA and using drone tech to fly things, there is a marker that you can't fly a certain range, a certain element, right? So that'll include military, that'll include anything airport wise. And however, unless you got an older drone, which is impossible because those are prehistoric, that they don't have that type of coding. So you got these things able to go without
And
any,
and
yeah,
these things, these drones, people could be like, well, it could be older tech. It's not older tech. These drones are the size are as large, if not larger, than SUVs, small buses.
no heat,
The
yeah,
technology that's in these is not prehistoric. It is not, fossil fuel driven.
and
These drones are apparently completely soundless. They move in ways that we cannot
right,
function with an actual pilot inside of it. They move at ridiculous speeds, low altitudes, and as someone who uses a drone a lot for drone cinematography and things like that too, I know the limitations of my drone. I know how high it can fly, and I have some pretty nice drones.
no,
Um, and I also know the restrictions for. We live near a naval base. We have Navy ships that come in, and there's a specific area that they come in, and whenever those ships come through, I can't fly my drone anywhere near that area. I can fly it near that area any time of the day. But if one of those ships is nearby, it's red zoned and I can't even take off.
right, yeah, exactly. And so,
Just got an attack in my shoe.
oh my goodness,
Wow.
it's probably
Aliens, the drones.
it's probably spy tech. That's what it is.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. So so there's a lot of different theories behind that, right? Now, I have different theories that why it could be the Chinese, possibly, and that's gonna be a whole different rabbit hole, and how it could be all connected with both, you know, these extraterrestrials and what's going on between our countries around the world. And now people will be like, well, that's a pretty far stretch. Not really. And I'll kind of talk about where that's more towards the end and so forth, and definitely get your thoughts on that, John. But before we kind of move on to the whole, it's not Chinese. I'm definitely gonna play something for a video from Sean Ryan.
You muted yourself. You're muted on the mic.
There we go. Look at that. That button is sensitive, dude.
That's why it's touch. That's why you got to move it from the pole.
Oh
I
yeah,
learned
good
that
point.
lesson.
Good point. All right, let's go ahead and give me a shared screen here. Let me just check this up here. And this is from Sean Ryan. This is about a gentleman who was supposedly one of or the bomber, or it could be many others, that was an ex-military called Matthew Levelsberger, and it's regards to the email that he sent out regarding around the drones and his bomb on the Trump building, it was in Vegas, right? Reed, it was Las Vegas, was it?
Yep.
It was with the Cybertruck and everything.
Yep.
That was Elon Musk, which was kind of, I guess, fitting because they're best buddies.
Elongated muskrat.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and get this video started up here, and let me know when you can see it, John.
Good
Can you see?
God, it's porn.
Oh gosh, can you see it?
How many tabs you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tabs.
Yeah, I got a lot because it's all my Reacher stuff. So there you go. All right, I'm gonna hit the video and here we go. Ready?
I'm surprised that Mac can even hold that many tabs
Oh,
open.
shut up. Stop bagging on that. All right, here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna hit play now. So
Go for it.
definitely take a listen and pay attention, and we'll definitely talk about it.
The email. Yep. So this email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m. That is Tuesday. He said, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I'm not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we in China have this capability. Our OPSEN, that's Operations Center, our OPSEN location for this activity it is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force. They are using it similar to how they use the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comms system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. The U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive V-bid. Let me pause right there for a second. So he said a massive V-bid. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a V-bid was. I had to explain what that acronym meant. Are you fucking serious? Dead serious. I said it twice and he goes, you said that word V-bid. Can you tell me what that is? For your audience, a V-bid, for your audience who has not been in the GWOT for the last 20 years, a V-bid is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms, a car bomb, what we saw at Trump Tower. So, backing up, he says, I am armed and have a massive V-bid. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. Here's where he gets into the other stuff. And this is where we had to redact the names. Well, your producer redacted the names. I had knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of CivCas, that's civilian casualties. They killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent redacted of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with redacted IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted commander at the time, redacted, can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. And he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion 10 Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access. What is USAP? Do you know what that is? I don't know what that is. But
Okay.
That
So,
V-bid. I believe
huh?
him. I believe him about the V-bid. That's for sure. I saw what he did with the Tesla truck.
I
And
was
that was
curious to see.
that was
So,
that was small for eyes compared to what he could have really done with that. He could have leveled that building.
well, and it's funny you brought that up, right?
I think it's funny that he had to explain a V-bid to the CIA.
So, okay. How legit do you think that email is? There's a lot of language that you know, that I would say
I
you and I have had talk private conversations.
many people. Well, there's quite a few people out there that use those types of acronyms.
But you know what I mean when it
It
comes to
could have been it.
communicating with other
Yeah.
people. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Um, I don't know if it's. I can't say that it's real because a lot of times
Right. We
things
can't say
like those, like
100%.
you look at the Luigi incident, and I fully believe that that manifesto that they
Sorry,
recovered on
sorry.
him is.
Dun, 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 dun. Little Mario. I'm sorry. That was that. Dun.
Um,
Sorry.
I dun 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 dun. Du-du-du-du-du-du. I could go all day with this.
I
Anyway,
know. Sorry.
du-du-du-du-du-du.
Sorry. The Luigi guy. Anyway. So yeah.
Du-du-du-du-du-du.
Oh my! Look what I did.
Okay. Anyways, you look at the
Oh.
Luigi incident, and there
Yeah.
was apparently a manifesto that was recovered, or I can't remember. I didn't even pay attention to it. I called bullshit on the manifesto the moment it came out. I think this whole ordeal is just something that, again, over here, over here, over here. Um, uh, anyways, you have to kind of take those things with a grain of salt. I will say the terminology used was very accurate. Um, I would like to hear the redacted. The redacted would be great to hear because I don't understand why redact something that you want the whole world to see. It doesn't really make sense to me.
Well, I think it
Other
was
than,
redacting the names, those particular names in the email.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
redacting those particular names, but who cares?
that's a good point too. Well, that was
If I'm go- if
that was
I'm
a
go-
that was
if
the
I'm going
producers of
to,
yeah, but that was the producer Sean Ryan because there's
yeah,
such a huge platform. But I agree. Who cares, right?
yeah. In
They
my personal opinion, I wouldn't. If that had been emailed to me, I would not be redacting that. I'd be calling immediately for a plane of force to be to these redacted individuals to have to step forward and communicate. Um,
right,
because obviously he's calling them out, and he's calling them out for a reason. He's
right.
calling them out after he allegedly performed this terrorist like act, even though it sounds like the act was in self-preservation and also to kind of eye open everything. If it even was, yeah, orchestrated by him, I can neither confirm nor deny that. I wouldn't know. Um, but anyways, long story short, I don't. I say it's pretty. I don't know. It just seems to me it seems too well worded, too well put together for someone who would have done this. Because in my opinion, if I were to go, and I wouldn't do this, please don't come through my ceiling, FBI. Um,
Hmm.
if I were to perform an act like this, I wouldn't be sending out no baby little email, no this, no that, no nothing like that. I would be going onto a platform like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, uh, X. I would have released multiple videos with my face, with my intent, with my actions, and stood there and said, "This is
Kind of
why I did this. This is
kind
what
of like the
happened.
guy
This is
from
what's
V
going
from
on."
Vendetta.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
This type of individual, if you're really going to make this sort of shock and awe situation, you're not going to hide from it because you know that you have a very limited amount of time to get your truth out there before you're got, because you are going to get got. And one of two ways, like you said, with this VBIB, he's either going to get got in the middle of the night, or he's going to get himself, preventing them from getting him. He's going to detonate.
well,
These
so
things with people who these
yeah,
people that wear like S vests and S belts, and they have these IEDs that they have in their vehicles and things like that. These people who do that are going to publicly and personally tell people without hiding,
right,
because they have these backup contingency plans. they know that if they're going to attempt to apprehend this person, he is going to be that guy who's going to be on the live or on the this and that. I am at the border right now. They're attempting to this, that, and the third. Blah 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 blah. I've warned them that I will self detonate if they do that. And I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm just saying that the actions of people in history that do these types of things, it don't match up to what
Mm.
he is saying. It could very well be accurate, and I could just be blowing smoke out my ass, but I'm just going off of personal experience and also visual and the history. Someone like this, someone like somebody who is making these acts like an anonymous or things like that, they're wanting to be heard and seen as much as possible so that there are eyes on them all the time.
Yeah.
Sure, he's hiding, but there is even an individual who's been wanted by the CIA, and I'm not going to mention names. I'm not even going to get too deep into this. This guy's been wanted, and he's on the CIA's top most wanted list. And this guy literally posts videos and does lives weekly,
Hmm.
and he's wanted for some pretty serious stuff. Um,
Hmm.
and he is just like, and he posts them and from different locations every time, and he's like, they're not going to find me. Eventually they will, but he is out there on doing his videos, doing these lives, doing these interviews and things like that over Zoom and online and all these other weirdo things that he's doing. But he is acting in a way without violence. He's just giving out information, and he's just running.
Right.
But he is completely, because his information is backed. All of this individual's information is things that are actually public information. It just takes some digging to do, because a lot of those release files, unredacted files, those public files, they're there for us to find. You just have to dig really, really hard to get
Oh,
them.
you're talking about getting some gloves on and digging through some shit to find some gold
Yeah.
and golden
Yeah.
truth. And
Yeah.
and
It's
so
there. Yeah.
yeah,
It's there.
so
That nugget of gold is in that turd, but you still have to dig through it.
so let me go a little more about this Mike guy. So supposedly he killed himself, right? He was in that truck, supposedly in that bombing, and you're right. They said that he could have done a lot more damage if he wanted to. However, they were able to identify him through kind of like that miraculous thing where it's like everything got
Where
destroyed,
everything
and
was
got destroyed.
just like with 9/11.
Yeah, there's a bunch of passports. Yeah,
Their passports were magically recovered, but everything else was completely destroyed. Even the black box, which is almost
and
indestructible.
right, and also too that they were able to somehow get DNA from that, and guess what? It doesn't match his kid that just got born. So was it
Either that's not his kid,
right?
or
Right, right.
that
I
could
know,
go. That could
I
go.
know
That one's too
that
open
that
ended.
and that could be
Try to use that as a DNA
and
thing,
may and he
but
should
but anyways,
don't blow up a vehicle. Go on Mari Povich and find out if it's your kid or not. All right,
yeah, you don't have
but
to blow up your Tesla truck for that. So, although
but
if you're gonna blow something up, a Tesla truck's probably the way to go. Those things are
yeah.
really good.
So basically, what they're saying that they feel
Please
like
don't
they're
come after me,
yeah.
Elon Musk.
So
I appreciate everything else you do. I just think that the Tesla
there
truck is
is
extremely ugly.
so there is theories that he did not die, that he actually is alive, and that whoever did was not him. And they're
Yeah,
also
it could very
and
well
then there's
just be a ploy.
and there's also theories that there is more than one person involved, which is not unheard of, right? But
No.
that's interesting to go into his claim about how this is both Chinese and U.S. tech, right? And he's
Yeah.
also talked about being brought in the UAPs. So again, it's so weird but interesting. Like, what will be the point of that? What was the significance of doing something like that with us with that? I just and this is more. This is by the way. This is by there's other soldiers in this country. There's some like there's a New Orleans and another
Uh-huh.
person who these are some ex-military, kind of like you heard of that movie. What is it? Starts with the M. Not the Mandela. My goodness. The what is it? The Manchurian Candidate or something like that. Manchurian Candidate.
I haven't
There's
heard of that.
anyways. Well, it's pretty much like soldiers who've been brainwashed to do things, pretty much.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Sleeping Sailors.
It's in Manchurian Candidate. That's what it's called. Anyways, so I just find that like, well, how's that tied to the drones? How's that tied to these attacks? Well, he's taught. If you heard the video, he's talking about how it is Chinese and that both China and us have this technology, right? And that's why we can't bring these down. Now, John, I'm not saying it is Chinese that's
Telling you,
going
man,
on.
I've seen what a Sea Whiz can do to flying things, and we'd at least try if we
Well,
wanted to.
well, and that's the thing too is that it's how do I say this? They're right there. It's I'm just trying. I'm not in the military. I don't have that military mind of what the point. If this is China's, what the point is of just doing surveillance at these other drones in our areas just to show
Oh,
that
it's
they
show
can
of
do
force
this.
completely, because a drone army is something to be feared.
Right. But if we have this,
Extremely.
but if we have this tech too, why haven't we done anything?
We might not have the it in mass like they do.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we're
Because the
not.
majority,
Maybe
because
it's a game of poker.
most of this tech we would be trying to source from China.
Well, that's true too. But we also have people like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon,
Yeah.
BlackRock, those people, right?
But even Lockheed Martin's self-propulsion system that they had that was powered with it, some form of AI technology was chips compared to this sandwich. Like these
Yeah.
things were, these drones are impressive. I'm not saying that they don't have secret technology and that Lockheed doesn't have anything under the table that we don't know about.
Right.
But
Okay.
um, America, we are a very flashy country, and I'll let you know that unless this was a plan, or unless this, no, that's not. I'm gonna reword that. If this wasn't a coordinated event with another foreign entity, we would be doing the exact same thing, because what happens
Or maybe we have.
when Russia likes to peek their ships out kind of near our anything?
Right.
We send our big boys,
Well,
right?
or maybe we have. We just and it's not televised.
What happens when a foreign plane comes into an area that it's not supposed to be? They are headed off by fighters.
But that's so interesting because John,
We
if
would
you
show it
yeah,
there.
but
America doesn't even matter who's running the country. America has always been a whose dick is bigger, and it's mine country.
But the thing is, what doesn't make sense though is like after a couple of years of blowing up the spy plane balloon, after we shot down supposedly objects in Alaska and then another part in Midwest these last couple of years, we sent out those jets in full force and shot them down. What I don't
We
understand, I don't
have
understand is why aren't we doing these to these, especially when they're pretty much flying over our bases? That it's so
because
different. It's so
this is
weird.
something that we are allowing to happen for some reason.
And thank
Because
you. And yeah,
because it's either we want this invasion to happen. Oh, my hand is going into space. Shit. Oh, fuck. Just
yeah.
if nobody can see this video, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, this dude's high." Um,
Stop tickling space, John.
um, who's gonna
Stop
get it?
tickling internally. No, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought.
But no,
If
about
this is
why?
not,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
if this is not something that we already were privy on, as whoever in government was privy on this, they're allowing this to happen for a reason, and that is because it is already something that has been set in motion, and we can't stop it. That's option A. It's option B. We don't have any fucking idea what it is, and it's here and it's doing it, and nobody can do anything about it. Option 3.2 is we are the ones doing it to ourselves to distract us from something bigger. It's all a game. It's all a ploy. And it's all going to come down to there's in a couple of days here, there's going to be somebody who's going to, you're muted. There's going to be somebody who's going to be popping up and who's
The
going
game
to
of
be saying,
shadows.
I'm going to take care of these foreign adversaries. I'm going, the big bad, the this, the that. I'm going to destroy it. I'm going to this. So we're not going to let these people, so we're not going to stand for this.
Right.
Screaming. What? Oh. Um, we have whatever it is, we either know what it is or we're allowing it to happen. I don't think that we're our government is confused like, oh, it's aliens, we don't know where this is coming. We know who it is, we know what it is, and we know why it's here, and we're letting it happen because it's going to be lining the pocketbook of the powers that be. whether it's an invasion, whether it's a bioweapon, whether it's nanotech fog, whether it's whatever the other kind of crazy stuff that's coming in. We are allowing it to happen because the powers that be said it must happen.
And guess what? We will talk about the fog. And John, I'm going to tell you right now, I have some great theories behind those comments that
I
you're
think we
talking
should do.
about.
I think we should do the fog in a whole nother episode.
You want to hold off to the fog? Okay.
I think we
Okay.
should do a
All right.
secondary episode just
Okay.
specifically on the fog because, and the reason that I say this is I think I send you a message about that. It hit Idaho,
Oh, you
and what's
did.
after Idaho?
Washington.
Yep.
Eastern Washington, hopefully.
Yeah.
Joking. That sounds terrible.
Yakima.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, we'll definitely say, you know what?
Coming
That's a good
for
point.
you.
You know what? We'll definitely save that for another episode because
Because our
there's
next episode, I might be sitting here with a gas mask on, surrounded by fog
well,
and
and everybody,
drones.
I want you to look up. We'll talk about this more than the next. You know what? We'll put that for the next podcast episode. This next one, and
We
pull.
want you to look
if
up Christopher Lopez hair care routine.
unless there's something else that comes up, but you should look up the term smart dust back in DARPA 1990s.
DARPA.
And
Started on
that is an interesting thing to talk about, but we'll definitely talk more about that if we if there's nothing else that comes up after this. Who knows? There's a lot going on. All I have to say is we don't talk about it more. Everybody look up smart dust and how that connects with the fog. I'm just saying this just in case if we don't talk about this in the next episode because of there's a lot that's happening this last. I mean, we're in what day 6 of the new year and we're having things going on like crazy. This makes Wizard of Oz look normal. Okay, so John, what I wanted to say to you is in regards to the drones,
Yes.
either U.S., Chinese, both UFOs, all that jazz. Me being in the financial world, there is a massive economic collapse going on.
Yeah. And it is
And
coming
and
faster than anybody can ever imagine.
and I'll tell you this. So everybody out there is gonna be like, well, how does that tie into the drones? How does it tie into, what's happening in the UFOs and everything like that? Well, I'll definitely tell you. When you have financial economic collapses going on, when you can't, when you don't have the resources to make that supply and demand, what do? You create it.
Yeah.
And how, we had the Great Depression back in 1929. What got us booming in our economic struggles? World War II, right?
Mm-hmm.
As much, like I said, I love America. I'm a fan of the Constitution, not a fan of the government. The bombings that happened, the attack at Pearl Harbor, were knew about or ignored, or but who knows? But it got us into war. What did it do to our economy? It boosted it. China, again, I'm speculating. I'm not saying this is facts. China is having some serious economic struggles. We know about Canada, we know about Germany, we know about France.
It'd be great to go to war with China, although I really don't want to go 1-for-1 with all their troops because they outnumber.
Yeah. We almost said Poland because of how much bad he makes fun of the poor Polish people. But
Polish alone.
yeah, I know. Well, anyways, so China has a lot of ties to the land here in the United States. They do. There's they
More than what you even think of. So
you
much
have,
so.
you have no
where
idea.
Find
No
the
idea.
city biggest to you, you will find a Chinese police station. They have been being busted in LA. I think that there was one cracked in Seattle and New York. An actual police station where they had their own police
Which is unheard of.
acting in their city. In this small town as police officers, Chinese police officers, a full blown police station. Also, there are a lot of landmass documents that have come out for areas that are owned by Chinese companies here.
Right, which by the way, they were
warehouses,
which by the way,
arms.
they weren't competing like you would try to buy a house and compete for a house to purchase from someone else. It was pretty much giving to them. So now China's having economic collapse. So if everybody remembers 2008 with the housing crisis that was going on with the mortgage crisis, the Chinese have a huge stake in our treasury bonds, right?
Hmm.
They own a lot of it. So what did we do the last few years? Not, with the COVID and everything. Not only are we paying them for those bonds, we gave them soil to grow, right? We took it from farmlands and everything like that. And honestly, back then, they could have pulled the bonds from us, destroying our country in a heartbeat, but it wasn't in their
Yep.
best interest back in 2008. So for them to have an economic collapse, if that's what's going on, for them to cash out the treasury bonds here in the United States, that would destroy this country in a heartbeat, and that's not going to be benefit for them. But what could benefit both sides?
War.
War. War.
And a war with China, people, is not going to be fought in between.
Hmm.
It is going to be fought on our soil. It is not going to be far away like what happened with World War II, where there was an attack here and then we went to war somewhere else. And
Right.
most of the people never saw it was another country that saw the majority of the other countries, not just another,
Right.
that saw the horrors of war. A war with China will be fought on our soil.
Yeah, and that
That's
scares
the
me.
only logical explanation. The
And
only
that
logical route
and
is
that
fighting
scares
for it
me.
here.
Well, John, you saw about all those Navy ships coming through here, right? We had those Navy ships coming through the Puget Sound area. And that makes me a little bit nervous because we have a
In an
view.
area
Oh,
that they
yeah.
don't normally, because
No.
everyone who lives in the in our region of the Pacific Northwest and the Puget Sound goes, "Oh, there's Navy ships that come through here all the time." Not where they just came through.
Right. So
31 years I've lived here, and I've only ever seen that once, and that was during a demonstration that they did over
right.
in Seattle.
Right. So now everybody, I know you're probably asking out there a little bit, and maybe it's got lost in our conversation. Is like, what is
Good. I want you
extraterrestrials?
lost.
What does extraterrestrials have to do with it? Right? These entities that are flying out there, because we're not just seeing drones, we're seeing these plasmoids, these orbs, right? That definitely have no drone look to it. I mean, you can tell when it's like a ship or like a space, like what I'm talking about, John. Well,
Hmm.
there's a physical metallic drone saucer, whatever you want to call it. But then you got these orbs that are highly intelligent, that are interacting, or the drones are interacting with it. I mean, it's a whole different thing. And one of my theories is, this is going to be a little bit stretched, is that because of how self-destructive we are, and what our plan, what I think our potential plan is, especially when we got a gentleman, a president who's going to be inaugurated in on the 20th, and a lot's happening. And I'm not here being political, but Trump's pretty abrasive. He doesn't give a crap. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He will give you the finger and go down fighting type of guy. So it's affecting a lot with the plan. So, you know, I'm wondering if it's that thing is where these entities are coming in, if it's a fact or not saying enough's enough, because how dangerous we are, because
Preventing
of our
ourselves from destroying the known universe
because
because
of
our
our
technology should not exist.
nuclear capabilities, right? And I believe the tech that both China and us, if it is in theory, that if it's us and China with these drone things, that I really believe that there is some type of non-human tech that's involved, not the highest part of the tech, but enough to that's a pretty cool background. But enough to do things where it can go uh, days and hours without having to repower, and also not having a heat signature, right?
Yeah. That's
Um,
the crazy part.
that
No heat
and
signatures.
that's
So
and
it
that's
makes it complicated to shoot down. It has to be
well,
manual
it's
training.
if you think about, John, it's a game of chess, right? If you're going to infiltrate a country, and I think that we are allowing it. We know what it is. Trump said this, and again, not completely, but he says the government
We know what
knows.
it is, but they're not. Yeah, the government knows. They're just not talking about it.
They're not talking about it. So we know what it is. We're allowing it to happen because there's a bigger plan in place when it comes to population resources and God knows what else. It's
Yeah.
a whole different thing. I really think that we know what it is. We're allowing it to happen for the quote greater good, right? And now, and I think with these beings, they're going to be like enough's enough, because John, you and I talked about my house. We had a very good, a good intense conversation when it talked about like, well, what does nukes have to do with aliens, right? Because we're a universe. It's a planet. If we nuke Mars or nuke Pluto, how would that affect us? Well, we talked about if these beings are not from another planet, but from a different extra dimension? And what if what we do here with those bombings that happen with the nuclear capabilities not just only affects here on our plane, but affects the different dimensions on other planes that we have no idea what the capability is? Again,
Yeah,
it's a a very far stretched theory, but I don't think that these beings are just here for our benefit to take care of us. I think there's something that's bigger and capable. So again,
exactly.
it's a very stretch. That's the third piece. I'm hoping that's a little more stretched, but the other pieces when it comes to what's going on and what's going on with our country, with the drones and with these attacks, these bombing attacks that's going on. It's 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 it it feels so fake. And when I say fake is I'm not fake, surreal. Like we're in a freaking movie, man. Like this is
Yeah,
something you watch in a movie.
yeah.
What do you? I mean, yeah. I mean, sorry for taking over the conversation, but I just
It's war.
really
No,
wanted to
no.
point that
It's
out.
it's War of the Worlds, and we just don't know what world we're warring with.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't. I'm, don't know what the next steps are going to be or what that looks like. All I know is I would say from John and I is, we want everybody to be prepared. We're not saying buy into, a fear mongering. That's not what it's about. We're not saying
No,
about that. It's about your
just
family.
just just
Yeah,
understand that there's something going on, and it's not in your best interest.
correct.
It doesn't care about you. You don't matter in this plan. So take this time to prepare yourself and your family physically, mentally, and emotionally, as well as situationally and materialistically. If I'm going into it, like, you know, doomsday prep a little bit. It doesn't hurt to have extra food, non-perishables, water. Not just water. Don't go that. Find yourself a way to purify water. Not in people, the life straw is great. No, it's not. Not in mass. Do some research. Grab yourself a book on this stuff.
Moonshine.
Hey, and when the world ends, guys, just so you know, there will be plenty of booze because I know how to shine.
But you're gonna get mad at me, by the way, John. I did buy a book. Sorry, I didn't buy it through
Is it
you.
the Ouija board that's behind you? Yeah, there you go. He just liked it because it had the word long in it.
Shut up.
Yeah.
But
And it's not gonna work for you because you got that fucking Ouija board behind you.
hey. That's
You got
just in
the
case.
you got the Luigi board behind you.
The Luigi board, dude. You just came up with a great
Band
freaking
name.
marketing tool. No,
Oh my god. I
if
know
you
where you're going with it.
if you created an actual where he's like the Luigi board with his face up, dude. Oh my god.
I'm patenting that right now.
You
Everybody,
should. You
go away.
should. Hey. This is recorded, so this is evidence. So I could see. You know how much money you make off that now. Oh my goodness,
7:52 p.m.
dude.
1/6/2025. John
I
Venursi. I patent the Luigi board verbally. I
oh
don't know if
god,
that's how that happens, but
I have so many bad jokes. What happened to CB1? Someone summoned the Luigi board, or I don't know. Oh my god, I'm
yes.
going to hell.
Summon the
Oh,
savior.
oh
Um,
Lord, no. But anyways, God, sorry, but no, but yeah, but so John, we talked a lot. I know we talked a lot about the drones. Like we did last episode. We were talking more the updated information, the theories behind it. We believe there's an agenda behind it more than the drones. We know there's the drones are just one part of the distraction. Regards to aliens or or extraterrestrials, we don't know where that fits in. That's just a theory. But we know that these drones and the smart fog or smart dust we going on is just a small piece to a bigger picture with distraction and causing
and
chaos.
that
But
bigger picture, and I can't stress this enough, does not include us.
yeah, that's a fact. That's a
We are
fact.
going to be a casualty of this bigger picture, no matter what it is. No matter what it is.
Well, John, like we talked,
The US people will be a casualty, we will be a nuisance, we will be a resource, and that's it.
well,
So take yourself out of that mold and make sure that you protect yourself and your family so you don't become that.
yeah, get off the board. Don't be the
Yeah.
pawn. Get off the board. And John, before we go, one thing I wanted to ask is, uh, What do you think, man? 2025. What are your thoughts so far? Besides what's going on, just in six
Fucking
freaking days.
fucking
What do
six
you
days into it.
What do you
6 days
think?
into it, they're banning to Washington. Six
Yeah.
days into it, new gun laws. One of those including they will be calculating and monitoring how much ammunition we can purchase
Wow.
in a year, how many guns we can purchase in a year, or in a small period of time. We will have a monthly and a yearly limit for ammunition. So these laws were voted on, they were passed. They do not go into effect yet. So my Washington listeners and viewers, if you are ammo buffs, if you are firearm buffs, I highly recommend going and doing the right thing.
Yeah, I mean that's insane. That you know what that does? If there was going to be martial law, it's going to give a statistic to all those people in the middle in the you know what I'm talking about, like, hey,
Yep.
this is all they can have. This is what to expect.
And not only that, but you're on a fucking list.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
on a list. I used to like buying bulk. I don't do that anymore because there are those regulations that happen. And bought bulk for target shooting. I lived in Idaho. I was a big time hunter, so I bought bulk. I like to go out shooting
Right.
things, cans, things like that. Um, but now this list, it's gonna happen just like with these red flag laws. They're gonna come and they're gonna be like, you're whatever, however many rounds over your limit. We're gonna need to confiscate that. Oh no, you can't. We have a warrant. ATF's gonna kick in your fucking door. They're gonna come in there and they're gonna take everything. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you can't have this. You can't have this. You can't. I'm just gonna arrest you now." So things are happening, and I don't exactly know if this is gonna stick because we are getting a new president, and he is very pro this stuff. But these things are happening. My Native American wife was prevented from buying a firearm recently, and they told her that they couldn't tell her why.
That was my fault.
Yeah.
I'm
And
joking, joking.
and the guy and the reason I bring up Native American is the guy let something slip when she asked why, and she's like, "Well, I need to call somebody over and talk to this," and she overheard him saying, "Well, she's tribal, and they're denying her, and I've never dealt with
Yeah,
this before."
that's bad.
They are denying. They started doing this, and I don't know if anybody else have had this experience, and if you do, I'd love to hear about
Yeah.
it, because I want to build a case for this, because they're starting, especially where we live, to restrict the demographic of people that can buy firearms, how much you can buy, how much ammo you can have, and apparently there'll be a backing list, and that's why I highly recommend cash, because if you've purchased ammunition from any gun store or online with a credit or debit card that is in your name, they will be subpoenaing those lists and they will be calculating up your amount of ammunition and they will probably be confiscating it
Wow.
because they don't want people to fight back whenever something happens.
And by the way,
Because places like
yeah,
Washington, Idaho, a lot of Midwest places like that, when the war happens, they're going to be a force to reckon with. Imagine trying to be that idiot that wants to try to invade Texas.
yeah, God save their soul. Pity for that
Yep.
person. And I'll tell you this to back up what John's saying. He's right. Me working in a financial institution, I've dealt with people saying, well, how can, like, for example, court orders, right? Like how can the court order take my money away? They can. Anything government, either local, either
Nothing we
county.
have actually belongs to us. The
Yeah,
government can come and take any of it away.
anytime, all it takes is
Anything.
all
They
it
can
can
take
take
your
is the
pens.
subpoena. We and guess what? It's not trying to scare you. It's just a fact. It's just like
Yeah, it's a
they
literal fact.
it's something, anything that's federally regulated.
Watch what happens when people file for bankruptcy. They take everything. How much is that pen worth? Oh, it's $50. Okay, it's mine.
When anything that's federally regulated, they can come into any business, private or public, and seize it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just
You can
doesn't.
say, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't. They stop them. Good luck.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel pity for the soul who crosses John's realm of his house, man. That guy's freaking. He's like if James Bond and John Wick had a baby.
Yeah. Good luck getting past the dog.
Oh Lord. All right, everybody. So we're gonna end this episode, the first year of 2025, hopefully many more, and definitely we'll talk about more about smart dust. Definitely look that up if we don't get to that. If there's other things that are going on that are definitely going to be more pertinent, but definitely look that up regarding the smart dust that's going on around the country, not just here in the country, but around the world. And to repeat, how you can reach us again or see us and hear our podcast. You got Spotify, you got YouTube, you've got Facebook, you've got X, you've got TikTok. You've got, I said Spotify already. We got Buzzsprouts. Anything else I'm missing, John, on that?
Uh,
Nope. Okay. And then also, if there's
No, 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 no. You nailed it.
any comments, concerns, questions, insults, and we mean this seriously, especially what John's talking
we
about.
highly encourage insults because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love keyboard warriors. I will make you cry.
John gets bored. He needs like he's like the dog that needs to fight, man. But anything that you want to share information wise, especially when it came to what John was talking about with the experience with his lovely wife Sophia and that whole thing. Bound to truth 34 at gmail.com. We would definitely love to hear your thoughts and so forth, or even on Facebook, message us as well. But other than that, that's about it, everybody. You just want to say have a great evening. God bless and see you on the other side. Once my, oh, that was a bad intro. Okay. See you on the other side. Have a good night, everybody.